Good morning. Today we're going to be taking a look at the XRP market cap chart, XRP, it's a Korean XRP, and the liquidation heat map along with the Sigma coin. So lots to go over today. So checking in here we had given two different possible scenarios yesterday that we had kind of had a different count here for this fifth wave, either being here or here. And now after the continuation of the price action, I do believe that this is our projected path of what we will be seeing moving forward here, with a completion now of the wave 3 breakdown. So to reiterate, we had our 5-wave move off the lows. This area right here was the question mark, and I believe that we did this with a flat structure with an ABC down, ABC up, and now we're working in the corrective 5-wave move to the downside. This impulsive move was 5 waves, so that's what gave us the tell for where we were, and we were questioning what this price action was here in the middle. So ultimately here, this is your 5 waves, right? So there's your 5 waves of wave 3. So that's a bigger, better zoomed out way of just kind of how to think about it. Here's your 5 waves that we've been playing with right here into this area now. And so the expectation is that we should correctively move back up, and we should come back up into this area of demand. And this area of demand happens to be $2.87. So here's the liquidity sweep that we already see playing out here at the upper side of it. And this liquidity sweep should ultimately be taken out, and then we can expect possibly one more rollover is what we'll be watching for, and how deep and how far down this comes will be the question mark. I could easily see this moving down into this region right here, into this open gap, which would be our 5th wave, happen by in the next 3 days or so. So maybe a really fun, like, we're doing it, and then oh no, one of those things. And so when we look at price action, that would lead for XRP to be able to pull back to, let me get this on a better time period. All right, so that would push us back down here into this region of 275, which we'd been checking and looking at for a while. So some things to note here on kind of what we have on this price action is we're looking for this ABC move to the downside, but we're going to take this off. We ultimately get to the same level as the ABC, but we do it in a much meaner way with a ABC down, and then there's this 5-wave breakdown that's going to finish up and wrap down here. So much more surprising and corrective, but taking it from this low, we added this VWAP level. And this is the mid-range area of interest that we've been watching, and we are definitely working at and potentially now below that level here pretty soon. So the main thing to point out, though, is these VWAPs. So these VWAPs, we are sitting at -2 deviations. So in English, that means that fair market value, most people are sitting right around here at 290. Some people, 65% of the people, are sitting here at 281. And then we have a big chunk of people who would be, I should say, very few people sitting here down at 271 because of how quickly these two reactions were off the lows. And this would mean that mathematically, this one is 99% away from that one, probability-wise. This one is 65% away or 64% away from this one right here. And so effectively what our goal is we're trying to grab this deviation and this deviation. So the expectation would be a roll back up to the fair market value, or possibly a front run into the 287 region, squeeze back up here to fair market value, can't hold it, swing back down, grab one more low, taking us into this 275 to 271 range. And then we can finally work on getting out of here and freak everybody out as we go to, supposedly break down and lose this next level, pushing us down into the 240, 220 region, right? All the way down into here, or even lower down into the 220s. So that's what we're doing as far as the price action is concerned. Now let's talk about yesterday's trade. So we had been monitoring this corrective pattern, trying to figure out where our count was. We got our accelerated breakdown. And then let's go into measuring how yesterday played out and the trades that were taken based off of those levels. Okay, so starting with the expectation that we had a corrective move back up into this region here, and this corrective move is going to be measured with this trend-based fib tool. So we're going to put it down here at the low that we saw here. Now this quick spike back and forth ended up being the ABC in the middle here. So we're going to put one right at the top and then one right down at the bottom. Now this ABC ended up playing out with a kind of a stranger count. So it went down higher and then lower, a higher low, right? So this was the A, B, C after completing a 5-wave move here. So now with this being said, we ended up getting ourselves a little range here of where we thought that this would probably stop out at. And we can see that we effectively pushed our way up into here and stopped right at the equal measured move. So what we've done is we've measured this move down to this move and gotten rid of that, and then stuck the equivalent of this move onto here, and it gives us that equal measured move. And look at how beautiful those candles on the 15-minute just couldn't close above that one line. Okay, that then led to our descent down the mountain, of which we ultimately were looking for a bull flag, but we lost it right here at 289. So that then led to this cascading breakdown. Okay, since then, this cascading breakdown came down and did our 5-wave move to the downside, and we are all around this negative 1 deviation as we're just kind of chopping, hopefully setting this higher low here to get everybody lulled back in again, get them back up to this region here of 289, and then roll it one more time over just to get everybody really excited. So so now price action wise, liquidity, we had this liquidity down here at the 279. So if we go to our 24-hour, we can see that the liquidity to the downside was sitting here at this 280. So the plan of attack was that once the discovery was made around 289, I went short around 287, so right here, and ran that short down into this region. Missed this bounce because I got stopped out, and then it just rolled over, but I put my buys down here. I just didn't chase this because I had to sleep at some point. So rolled this all the way down, and now we're building liquidity down at the 277 region, but we have a ton of liquidity back up here at this 289 zone. So the question is, do we sweep one more time and then go, or do we do what we're thinking what we're going to do is that we did this as the 5 waves. We move back up to the 289ers, get rid of the shorts, get them all liquidated, and then roll it over one more time to take out the late shorts, finish out the these longs that are sitting right here, me included, and then which I will stop out up here, and then ultimately swinging down and getting this last kind of capitulation down to the 277 that we're already building the liquidity for here. Down below. So this whole region will fill up with longs, and then this will all be swept, and then they'll come back and get these guys. So anyways, that's kind of the complexity that we're looking at. That's how I'm currently counting it. And part of the reason why I think we're going to hold this level is the good old kimchi premium in the Korean chart. So what I've done is I've been using this for quite a while, is I put the Korean chart over here on the right and the USD chart on the left, and as you can see, there's a very big difference. And so and then we have some indicators down here. So primarily the biggest one that I'm looking at is, if you see right here, this low was just taken for the stop loss on the USD pairing. So that's pretty interesting. But over here on the Korean chart, we did not lose that low, right? So this is where the discrepancy in the liquidity plays, because this told me on Korea that this was not sustainable, because Korea had not shown up to the party to liquidate below this level, and now they're bouncing, and so is USDC or USD. So in addition to that is this guy down here. This is an indicator from Tom, and hopefully you can see it there. Yeah, you can. This is the kimchi premium. When this thing exceeds 3% premium, which it is currently at 4.226, Korea shows up to the party and they say, you know what, I'm going to buy some XRP in the USD land and move it over to Korea land and sell it to these Koreans who want it, because obviously they're setting higher lows, right? And over here we're like, oh, this thing sucks, and we're just getting rid of it down here. So the Koreans step in. Whenever we move above 3, that is a huge indication of reversal that's coming into play here. So that is the Korean kimchi premium coupled with the Korean chart, and this low being lost over here, but then not being lost on this side, told me that this was just a quick liquidity flush. So I just removed my stop that I had here at this level, because I was like, you know what, they're going to come and get me, and they would have. So I canceled it, and now we're getting ready to go for the next leg up and squeeze to 287. So this is kind of the way that I've been looking at these two charts lately, because Korea has been giving us some really good tells as to what's happening. And now let's take this further out here. So everyone's doom and gloom. We've got this massive, horrible, ugly pattern of the USD coming down and setting a low, and then setting another higher low, and then a higher low, but then there's going to be one more flush, and this is it. We're going to capitulate down to the bottom of the drudges, and everything's over. And why did we even buy XRP? Well, we go over to Korea, and we take a look, and guess what? Korea has not done any of that crap. So here's Korea. Those 5-wave move off the lows, okay? Here's this gap closes, came down beautifully closed, massively gorgeous higher low. If you remember, USD had a massive liquidation that came down because of all the leverage in our system, and they liquidated all the way down. Let's get this guy here. There we go. They came down and they just liquidated straight down to here. And then all of this move was down here for USD land, but in Korea they didn't care, right? Korea then comes down with an ABC down, ABC up, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there'll probably be one more rollover maybe to get this guy down here. But they closed all this gap, so they're just chewing through here right now. So Korea extremely strong, beautiful wave 1, beautiful wave 2, and now we're looking to see if we can make our way out of here. So ultimately, this is how I'm looking at the advantage of XRP. When you look at it this way, you have this ABC down, 5-wave move, ABC, another 5 waves, another ABC, and giving us the ability to move out of here and go higher. So Korea is giving us the way that they have an appetite for XRP. They're not doing these things that we got on the USD chart. As you can see, here's the USD chart, and you can see that if you look through all my squiggles, this is where all that price action was on USD that did not occur here in Korea. This is much cleaner looking right there. So, all right, so that's kind of how I'm looking at the overall thing. And then with that, we have Sigma, right? So Sigma's doing a great job just chewing with higher lows so far here off the overall low. So we have these higher low setups that are coming into play that are giving us this ability to kind of grind out of here as we work to get back within this wedge is ultimately the plan of attack that we're looking for. Let's see how our 3 days looking here. 3-day RSI is almost wrapped up here. So I think we got another maybe 2 to 3 days of Sigma just kind of flopping. And then we'll start seeing some price accumulation moving back up here, probably with the return of XRP to 287. And I think those two things together will kind of get us back up into this region, allowing us to finally push higher. And we can finally start getting some price action here in Sigma land. So daily, I believe, daily's turning positive. So we're good there. And we can start just kind of seeing this thing get back up into the supply after this long, now almost year, 10-month wave 2, grinding everybody to dust. And now all of a sudden fireworks will be coming very soon. So anything outside this wedge right now is just a massive buy. So this is our zone area of the 886. We're just accumulating as people are still working on figuring out if the project's going to make it or not, which the answer is yes. And then we continue out of here. So that's what we're working for. So, all right. So hopefully that was helpful for the overall market. But this Sigma coin is also telling me that we do have pent-up demand starting to manifest as people are looking to multiply their XRPs. We then have the trick of utilizing, look at that, oh my gosh, such a trick right there. And we lose that low, stop all these people out, and then send it. And now, but Korea never did. And then you bounce over to the Korean overall chart. Gorgeous. This is just a beautiful 5 waves, ABC, wave 1, wave 2 of the next leg as we move up higher. And then USD is just sitting here being, and all this crazy stuff, along with the market cap telling us that we might have one more rollover that can come into play per the larger count, completing this ABC, and then 5-wave move down, and then we're out of here. So hopefully that was helpful for the overall market check-in, and just be ready for this kind of one last play out. If we don't get it, great. But as of right now, I think that's what's in the cards, is one more sweep up, one more sweep down, and then we can send. So, all right, thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll check in tomorrow.